Some of the law firms in this country that caved to President Donald Trump are now facing the fallout for doing so. At least 11 major companies have decided to shift legal work away from firms that struck deals with the Trump regime, instead turning towards those firms that actually stood their ground against Trump, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal that was published on Sunday. Why is that? Well, it's not because a lot of these corporations are like super woke or anything. It's because of the nature of their work. See, general counsels at various companies told the Wall Street Journal that, hey, look, our decision was pretty simple, okay? If you're a firm that surrendered to this administration without a fight, then how can we count on you to represent us and fight for us in court or at the negotiating table if you can't even stand up for yourselves? I mean, seriously, if you just cave at the administration for launching executive orders at you, then what good are you? What kind of law firm are you? What, like, there's no fighting. You're just gonna, we hire you, and then you're just gonna surrender to the opposition if it gets hard. No, thank you. No. Not only is this a gigantic FAFO, but again, it really does make sense. If you don't fight, if you comply and advance, you show that you are weak, which is not what you want in a law firm. You want a fighter. You want a fighter. So now what companies are involved here? Well, you have Oracle, Morgan Stanley, Microsoft, and McDonald's. So those are reportedly among the bigger ones to distance themselves away from these other legal firms, either by scaling back their work or voicing concerns or even just parting ways. You're gone. You're fired. Now, in one of the cases, the Journal reported a firm that cut a deal with the Trump administration reportedly stopped representing McDonald's in a high-profile lawsuit months before trial. In another, Microsoft put concerns in writing to one of its go-to firms. So there you go. And a top executive at one company told the Journal that her employer plans to transition work away from a specific law firm, Paul Weiss, which lost 4 of its partners after entering into a deal with the White House, which had threatened this firm with access restrictions, canceled government contracts, and even revoked security clearances. So they had threatened all of that. Paul Weiss said, yes, sir. Okay, sir. Sorry, sir. And even had pledged to do millions of dollars worth of pro bono work for the Trump administration on behalf of their policies. Wow. And that work, again, tens of millions of dollars for just one firm, for all of the firms that were targeted that had actually gone along with the Trump administration, it's worth about $1 billion of work. Damn. Now, the firms that made deals with this administration include Kirkland and Ellis, Skadden, Simpson Thatcher, A&O Shearman, and Latham and Watkins. So there you go. In fact, a general counsel at a separate company told the newspaper that she had, quote, felt physically ill at the time when Paul Weiss struck that agreement. Not good. Now, there's another firm, by the way, that made a deal, and that is Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher. Now, I point that out because that is one of the firms that actually employs Doug Emhoff, that is former Vice President Kamala Harris's husband. Emhoff had joined the firm back in January, and according to the New York Times, unsuccessfully advised his leadership to fight back. So Doug Emhoff's like, what are you doing? Fight back. And, they didn't. And now they're losing business as a result. Hey, guys, you should have listened to Doug. That said, I got to ask, is Doug still at that firm? And if he is, why? Why? It's not like there are not other places that you can work at. And obviously, there are ones that are fighting back, and they have been doing so very successfully, I might add. In fact, multiple federal judges have actually struck down a lot of Trump's executive orders that have targeted these firms and saying that this is basically you overreaching executive power. And two of the big ones here that just recently won are Jenner and Block and Wilmer Hale, who had filed separate lawsuits accusing the administration of violating their First Amendment rights, free speech rights, right? After they were stripped of their security clearances. On May 23rd, a federal judge overturned Trump's order against Jenner and Block, who, by the way, was targeted because they had employed Andrew Weissmann, who had worked on the Mueller investigation. 4 days later, another judge struck down the order against Wilmer Hale, which again had been targeted because they previously employed FBI Director Robert Mueller of the Mueller investigation. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about lawfare, right? You want to talk about weaponization of the government against their political enemies? There it is. I mean, that's an example of it. Going after these law firms for actually having employed Trump's enemies. It's very clear. Okay. And by the way, this is why these companies are actually, these law firms are actually winning now. Amazing. Amazing what happens when you actually fight, as opposed to surrendering to the fascists and complying ahead of time. I know, right? But once again, this just proves that if you go fash, you lose cash. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.